this is going to be a 100% run, which means we will be collecting all of the weapons and all of the special items. And by special items, I mean non-consumables. Remember that this is the Mega Man series, not the X series, so this means energy tanks are consumable. They do not count. With that in mind, it's time to start with, what is this? Story? Yes. We do not get to start right away with a stage select screen. Instead, we are in the outskirts of, I want to say, Tokyo, Japan. Or, since we are in English, I don't know, I'm still sticking with Tokyo. Otto has just taken Mega Man and Roll to literally the end of the line. And so Mega Man has to suit up and get ready. I do appreciate the idea of having a hard hat for this, but we're gonna need something a little bit more protective and cooler looking. That's more like it. Thank you, Otto. But we do not get full control yet. Dr. Light is on the ground, having just recovered from, I guess, an unexpected trip. And Rush, our faithful companion, is ready to be on our side with some of your traditional Rush power-ups and some not so. Oh yeah, the intro cutscene that you may have seen at the beginning, it dealt with that building in the background right there. That is the prison. And there's Wily already showing off those eyebrows. Sheesh, everyone's trying to up their game here. We haven't even gotten to the Wily stages yet, come on. Alright, at this point we finally have control. So as Mega Man, you still have your ability to charge your Buster, you still have the ability to slide, and you still have the ability to use your Mega Buster. Oh, okay, come on. Why do you have to smash those minions like that? Wily's robots have no sense of morality. At least I don't know of any that do, I mean, unless you count Blade. Anyway, this is base. You don't actually have to fight base here, you can just, tank the damage, make it go faster, and there you go. Also, that wolf is treble. We will likely encounter them again at some point. For now, what's this? 4 stages? Well, I'm sure we'll get the other 4 later. Let's just start with Freeze Man. So, as is tradition of any ice stage, there is ice physics. So, do be careful when you move about. Watch out for polar bears and shield attackers. Or we can just tank all the damage we want. This is a speed run. Sometimes we do not care how much health we have, as long as we have at least 1. Of course, once we lose all that health, it is literal critical existence failure, so do be careful of that. Here boy, here boy. There's a good dog. This is where 100% comes into play. We have just picked up an H-chip. This H-chip, in combination with the other Rush chips, will give us a super adapter. For those that have played Mega Man 6 and remember the Jet Adapter and Power Adapter, think of it as a combination of both. However, we're not going to utilize that too much. Now, that Rush Search, however, we will utilize, though it's effectively a big fetch quest item, really. Those that are playing this for the first time may want to consider getting that energy tank. And oh yes, this is how Rush Search is used. Deploy the dog, hope dog barks, hope dog digs up something good. And thus, the exit module. This allows us to exit a stage once we've beaten it and then re-entered it. But for now, let's talk about Freeze Man here. Freeze Man is not exactly what I call a chill dude. He likes to show off a bit. If you ever... I'll talk more about that on the refights if I remember, but for now, Freeze Man follows a very predictable pattern. Likes to throw freeze crackers to the ground, forcing ice physics temporarily, then summon stalagmites to cause additional problems, then freeze cracker in your direction. The pattern is predictable enough to where this is the recommended Robot Master to take out with just your Mega Buster. And with that, one Robot Master is down. Also, in case I didn't introduce myself, I should do that now. I am Wolfman2000, I also go by Danstad. Now, I actually do like this part, in a casual game. You actually get descriptions of what the weapons will do through conversations with Mega Man and, in this case, Dr. Light. I do want to say the Japanese version offers additional characters to interact with. I don't think that's available in the US version that we're playing, but oh well. So, unfortunately, because of that, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Alright. I'm sure there's going to be more bad puns to go through, but for now, welcome to Burst Man stage. We have a very familiar Mega Man obstacle here, these, bombs. Hit them with the flat side, and then they count down. Make sure not to be around when they go 0, because, well, let's just say you won't like the explosions. This is also our requisite water stage. Though, the, water doesn't look that great here. Still, at least the Met tools are prepared, and the spike ceilings are also prepared. As usual, Mega Man's armor has a very strange weakness to spikes. One touch from them, and instant death. Time for the big crab. Button mashing is all you need to do. And with that... Oh gosh, did we pollute the water supply even more? Maybe we shouldn't have destroyed that crab, I don't know. So yes, now we are dealing with a rising and falling tide of sorts. And here we utilize Rush Jet just to speed things up. And, oh, right, the Yoku blocks. Fortunately, that screen is not too bad, but this one, if you're not careful... Well... yeah, spiky deathbed is not exactly the best thing in the world. Again, we are playing 100%, so we want that R-chip. In this case, it's relatively easy to get. Ooh, nice strategy by Nobleboy, taking advantage of the Mercy invincibility. So, regarding how Mega Man can float, let's just say it's some pretty potent liquid. Alright, we now are ready to fight off against Burst Man, who, once again, we have spiky death ceiling up above. Burst Man likes to fire bubbles with these burst bombs inside them. However, the actual weapon itself is called the Danger Wrap, as we will soon find out. However, apparently, once exposed to the cold, these bubbles just break apart easily. And thus, so did Burst Man. If you're not careful, those Danger Wrap bubbles can actually capture you and send you to the spikes if you don't break out or slide at the right time. And as Dr. Light just said, this Danger Wrap has the ability to send out a bubble with a bomb, and also just the bomb by itself. So with this bubble, let's literally get our head in the clouds. It is time for Cloudman. For those that saw the demonstration at the beginning of this run, this was the stage we played in. Or watched Mega Man play in, effectively. As usual, there has to be at least one stage with the semi-traditional up and down style enemies, so do be careful when you jump across pits. That floating creature is a weather manipulator machine. We just turned off the rain and made it snow. This actually does affect a part of the stage later on. That, and I want to say it also reduces some of the lag. Oh, come on. I mean, I know we have to respect Mega Man 2 and 3, but do we really have to bring these platforms back in? Oh well, enjoy the music as we have to wait for these clouds to come back in. Use this time to get a breather in. Anyway, here is where using the freeze cracker on the weather machine is useful. You get to see these platforms right away. Oh, that was a rude robot. And as such, we don't have to worry about semi-blind jumps. Oh, that was a bad input. We meant to jump instead of slide. Fortunately, this is not Mega Man 8, so we don't have to worry about bad decisions like that. We can just easily get back up and try again. And with that, the weather shenanigans are done with, pretty much. We get to take things easy, take out a few more of these robots, and... a suspicious ladder at the top of the room? Well, let's see, there's no one in here, but Mega Man's getting in position. Oh look, it's Proto Man, also known as Blues. We are not, having a fight against Proto Man yet, even though that's typically what happens. Instead, we just receive, some words of encouragement. And so, it is time for more Airman shenanigans. But we have finally reached Cloudman. Watch out, because this arena can be tricky. You notice that there are pits on this one. So... Oh, this is where sometimes having low health can be dangerous. Similar to other Mega Man games, if you used weapon energy and then lost a life, that weapon energy does not come back to you. This is not Rockman 4 minus Infinity, where you gain some of the energy back on death. Which means we have to rely on Buster strategies for the rest of this. As such, we actually get to see Cloudman in action for a little bit. Of course, I only said a little for a reason. As before, we have a decent color scheme and a new weapon, the Thunderbolt. Note what Dr. Light said right there about powering electronic machines. That is going to come in handy on our next stage. Of course, you may not believe me and think that that weapon is just a bunch of junk. No, that Robot Master is a bunch of junk. It is time for Junkman stage. So, Junkman stage is interesting from a routing perspective. Since we are playing 100%, we are... Oh, hold on, elevator sequence. And we don't have to... It's an elevator sequence. We don't have the bad elevator music, we're good. So we are going to have a split path in this stage coming up very soon. Because it's 100%, the best way to get the items is to take one path, get the item, and then take a death. And what do you know, our S-chip is here. We have all of the Rush Super Adapter chips. Oh, and for those that were worried about where you continued from, there were more continue spots in Mega Man 7 than there were in the classic NES games, so we have a bit of flexibility for that. And here is where that Thunderbolt comes in handy. And here is the Super Adapter. This is a combination of both jet and power adapters from Mega Man 6. However, you still have the weakness of being unable to slide on the ground. However, it does make getting the Rush Jet a little bit easier. As you may have noticed, the Super Adapter is useful for the vertical sections, but for horizontal sections, sliding is generally the fastest movement. Though for dealing with a bunch of uneven ground, Rush Jet certainly comes in handy. Who wants to deal with these floating top platforms? Not Mega Man, that's for sure. Alright, it is time for Junkman. This creature... I mean, I know it's supposed to be a Robot Master, but... it's literally held together by metal and duct tape, so the Thunderbolt kinda makes quick work out of it. Also, thank you for that face, Junkman. So those of you that remember the shield weapons, well, Junkman has our shield this time. This one, you can actually use the shield and then, I believe press the button again to spread out the junk to have it be an offensive weapon, but I may be mixing up my shield weapons. There are so many of them in this series. Alright, with that in mind, we have taken care of the 4 Robot Masters, so let's have a little bit of a coffee break, I guess. So those that have played the Game Boy Mega Man games will realize, hey, we started with 4 Robot Masters, something is up. Also, our hero and scientist are talking about bass. They think bass is cool, and before we can get even further in that, it is time for a Midway stage. So we are going to be heading into the Robot Museum. if you play this game casually, just stick around in the Robot Museum for a little bit. You may appreciate some of the music. But this Midway stage is very short. How short? We already see Wily wiggling his eyebrows, taking away his favorite Robot Master of all time. Insert funny joke about Gutsman here, and leaves us with a present. This clownish creature, take off the head and then danger wrap the head. There you go. And of course, we want to destroy more things just because. And now, for those that are wondering where these stages take place, you know, for all the Robot Masters in the game. Right, we're already on the next stage. I'll have to go on slight turbo speed here. So, it's been speculated that all the other stages in the classic series have been taken place in various parts around the world. These 4 Robot Masters for the second loop in Mega Man 7 allegedly take place in 4 different spots around Tokyo. And as such, Wily is actually literally sending a message that says he wants to take over all of Japan, and so Mega Man has to basically attack these 4 stages in a very quick succession. Pretend there's no actual breaks, and let's just keep the action going. Okay, I am done. So, Turbo Man stage. Music is certainly upbeat, and we are inside, effectively, a car factory of some kind. There are plenty of spiky tires, though, and so this is an area where we do want to consider the Super Adapter for combination of safety, and we can actually get to a special spot coming up right here. Not that... Actually, it is that platform. I was thinking of the one above. Here, boy! We got something good under here! You smell it? You smell it? How can Rush smell something metallic anyway? I don't know. There's a good boy! That is the Super Adapter Booster. That lets our charge attack work much better. Another empty room. Oh! Hi again, Proto Man. Proto Man here talks to you about the Super Adapter, but we've already picked it up, so we are good on that front. For those wondering, the 2 Proto Man encounters that we've seen so far, they have to be seen in order. Also, a Quick Man reference. Fortunately, these flame bursts do not cause instant death to my recollection. I may be wrong, but I don't ever remember finding out. Also, here is Wily's big delivery truck. Fortunately, it's kinda easy to take out. Does lag a little bit at the end, but trucks have a lot of stuff to get out of their system, what can I say? Alright, this is Turbo Man. Fun fact, this boss potentially has a one-hit kill, but we do not have the weapon for that. So in this case, we're gonna deal with Turbo Man the vanilla way, basically. Watch for the flame bursts here. And whenever Turbo Man starts charging up like that, he eventually goes into car form, trying to become a transformer. Unfortunately, Turbo Man is more of a Decepticon than an Autobot, and as such, should be sued for copyright infringement. We'll see you in court, Turbo Man. Alright, litigation is being carried out right now, but we did get the weapon. The Scorch Wheel. This is also a spinning wheel here. but this one's not a shield. This one is just offense, and also able to burn stuff. Keep that in mind. And I have also seen that movie, Jingle All the Way. Honestly, it's kind of a bad movie. Let's just slash it up and move on. Welcome to Slash Man's stage. This is meant to be some sort of dinosaur zoo area, but apparently it's, taken over because, of course, everything is run by robotics, and, well, apparently these robots were made evil to begin with. And, okay, I see Chad is a little upset that I considered Jingle All the Way a bad movie. No, it is in the so bad it's good department, okay? It's not so bad it's horrible. That would be the Star Wars Holiday Special. Anyway, while we're talking about movies, Mega Man is just casually riding a raptor. Apparently we are dealing with Jurassic Park here. Sorry, Joe, we don't have time to stick with you. And now, we have more dinos. Including this big one right here. Of course, Thunderbolt at the jaw does short-circuit it a bit, and there you go, there's that junk shield in action. Now, all these trees, and we're just gonna burn one. You may think that we do not care that much about the environment, but there is a secret up here. Hi, Beat. Beat, I believe, is supposed to provide us with pit rescue delivery service. Though, admittedly, I may be mixing this up with another Mega Man game because Beat has done so much. And now, Slash Man. Slash Man is, well, effectively the closest that we will ever get to Wolverine in the current licensing day and age. Now, why couldn't we have Slash Man involved in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? We were able to get Mega Man X and Zero. We could have gotten a Robot Master in, and this way we would have had Wolverine. Now, technically, as you've seen, Slash Man is vulnerable to the Freeze Cracker, but sometimes the Mega Buster works as well. Watch out for the gooey eggs, and you'll be fine. And as such, Slash Man... sorry, you'll have to sharpen your claws a little bit. And with that, Mega Man now has a melee weapon. Mega Man doesn't get that many melee weapons throughout the entire series. I know Charge Kick was one, Slash Claw was another. I'm trying to think of how many others that were pure physical. Not Hard Knuckle, that's a projectile. Maybe we'll figure it out later, but for now we have to spring right back into action. Oh yes, Top Spin. I should have remembered that one. So, Springman, effectively we're in a carnival. A carnival of death, considering that we have springs, we have spikes, and we will soon have springs that lead into spikes. This is where having the super adapter for that mid-air boost can come in handy to save your metallic butt here. But we can only have it for so long if we want optimal movement. Nice idea to get the safety one up. And now we are bouncing up and down and all around. This is starting to seem like we are in a Carnival Night zone from the Sonic series. But we have reached the midway point. You start at that bright star. And what do you know, we are right by another secret. Oh! Watch out for the Jack-in-the-Box. But we can control the Jack-in-the-Box if we're careful enough. Jump on it, and it turns. Break the wall to the left. And we have Otto's bolt. So when we started the game, Otto was actually missing a bolt on the head. We do have the ability to access a shop system in this game. I want to say it's by pressing the select button at stage select. It is possible to also purchase the items that we have been finding throughout the stages and through Rush Search, but they are typically more expensive. However, if you wanted the ability to purchase weapon tanks and super tanks, you need to go to Otto. Now, Springman also has a one-hit KO move, but we don't have the ability for that yet either. So for now, we're just going to slash the spring, make it impossible to slinky down the stairs properly. Because you know what happens when slinkies get bent improperly, they just don't work anymore. See you at the bargain bin! As such, we have gained the Wild Coil. This is one of those special weapons where you can charge it up to cause a better effect. Or maybe different effect. It's hard to say which one really works best. However, it may come in handy later. As such, it is time for one more stage. And, aww, Nobleboy, we need to talk. I know we didn't talk about this earlier, but there is an Easter egg in this stage. I want to say that if you hold the B button throughout, you actually get Super Ghouls and Ghost music here. But in this case, we have the original music. And unfortunately, folks, due to this efficient routing, we are not going to hear the Super Ghouls and Ghost music here. So, similar to Junkman, there is going to be a split path, and it all depends on this pumpkin right here. So this pumpkin actually has two different weaknesses. One is the outer casing, and one is that inner pumpkin. Whichever one goes to 0 first, or whichever one is hit to be dropped to 0, I don't remember how the health bar system works, determines which path you take. In this case, we're going down. And through a secret passage. That's a door. That's a whistle. That's Proto Man. And that's the battle music. Those wondering why we didn't fight Proto Man earlier, well, here we go. Time for your Mega Man 3 flashbacks, folks. Proto Man likes to hop, he likes to dash, he also has a chargeable buster, but this one is obviously more powerful. Do be careful when attacking, because that shield does prevent damage. And, oh boy, Mega Man has to be careful. every time a charge shot is delivered, or at least every time an attack wave happens, Proto Man likes to dash to the other side, or sometimes do this 3 jumps as— Oh! That was unintentional, folks, I can assure you. But this is why we grabbed the safety 1-up. So we just have to deal with this ugly pumpkin once again. By the way, it's Thanksgiving today, not Halloween. Alright folks, I know you like to see the Proto Man battle again, so we are giving it to you right here, right now. So it's that attack that Noble just interrupted. That is one of the more dangerous ones. Jump, shoot, jump, fan shot. You are not given a lot of room to dodge that attack if it gets to that fan stage. But so far, so good. Unlike other bosses, we do not get to see Proto Man's health bar, so we do not know how we're doing unless we're keeping up with it in our heads. And admittedly, I am not doing that. I always forget if the Mega Buster— Oh, there we go. We are done. Places, please. And thus, our reward is Proto Man's shield. Proto Man never gives the shield away, so something big has to be going on in order for this to happen. This shield can effectively replace your Mega Buster. It gives you the same effects, plus some frontal protection. However, I do believe you have to select it, so it does take a bit of time. And oh yeah, because you are carrying a big shield, you can't slide while using it, so it may not come in handy that much. Alright, Pumpkin Round 3. This time, we're taking out the outer shell. Outer shell defeated. So here we're actually going up the graveyard/mausoleum, and we actually get to see some more of the outside. Now the reason we're taking this path is near the very end of it. My Dr. Wily, you are a bit, presumptuous. Let's see what you've got hiding under the portrait. Russia senses something, or smells something, hard to tell what. It is the Weapon Energy Balancer. Now we can pick up weapon energy and it'll automatically heal other weapons. Hey, no attacking trouble yet, come on! I mean, I know something is going to happen here, but come on! No need to get ahead of ourselves. Alright, Shade Man. This is where charging that Wild Coil comes in handy. You are able to attack Shade Man in the, well, shade at the top. And as such, Shade Man is no longer of the night. So, just to cover a little bit of story, because we're not going to have that much time, I'll talk about the weapon later. Base was just sent to Dr. Light's lab to recover along with Trouble. So technically right now, Base is trying to recover here. And so, this weapon right here, the Noise Crush. This is how we can actually perform some special, tricks. Actually, I don't think we can anymore because we're approaching refight time. Oh, what just happened here? Did that healing energy drive you berserk, Base? Apparently so. Either that or... well, let's just say, Base was actually evil this whole time. And Dr. Wily is here to confirm it. So, the textual part about stealing the enhancements, basically, those enhancements dealt with the Super Adapter. And, Base now has a copy of those plans. And, of course, Dr. Wily has to get the last laugh. As such, it is now time for the Wily stages. No eyebrows here, we got to see them twice already, and we can't have too much of a good thing. It is time to make our way into the Wily Fortress proper. As before, these are a number of stages that will test all the different enemies and patterns we've learned, and also use our weapons. Oh, hey, what are these platforms that are a combination of Crashman and Gutsman doing here? Let's ignore them. Also, lights are flickering. You do have to be careful here when the lights go out, but it's alright. We are off the special switches. These tire guys maybe need to be retired, but that's a story for another day. Uh-oh, big pits? Better call Rush. Oh, that platform had to get in the way there. Come on. Yeah, this is... if you're not careful with your cycles here, sometimes it's better to just, go through normally. But be careful, because these platforms can also turn off the lights. And now, vertical platforming. Again, Super Adapter is great for this. And as such, we're already up. But wait a second, if I remember my Mega Man door notes here, that does not look like a normal one. That's because it's not. It is time for Base to be taken out. Base is willing to jump up, jump around, and fire a Mega Buster. This is before the Base Buster came into play in the later games. But in this case, the Charged Punch works rather well. Ah, that's our actual boss door that I was looking for. Uh-oh. Ceiling, rocks, Gutsman! Is this where I'm supposed to go? Donna here? I don't remember. Anyway, this is where we actually need to use the Slash Claw. Big rocks will fall down, use the Slash Claw, send them to Gutsman, and, let's just say it rocks Gutsman's world. Sorry we had to take you out for a third time like this, Gutsman. Now, unlike the other games, you do get passwords partway through, and you can choose to recharge. But in this case, we're just going straight on through. If any of you folks watching this have some sort of clapping emotes, now's the time to use them. Okay, that's enough of me clapping. Welcome to, effectively a turtle fortress here. We are seeing imagery of turtles all over. This isn't foreshadowing at all. The Sniper Joe certainly like to, occupy these areas. How is that one not even moving on the conveyor belt? That is some impressive technology. I know I would like it. Alright, we have to put the clapping away because it is now time for, effectively, base round 3. We let base win round 1, we took over round 2, but it is time for the tiebreaker. Let us drop the base! The actual enhancements allow base to fly and dive bomb and do a lot more stuff than what we can do with our super adapter here. But as usual, charge shots work well. Our fist is able to home in because we picked up our charge shot adapter, and it just takes base out kinda easily here. Now, base is just gonna retreat and figure things out as we get to clap again. Oh yeah, the springs, why do they have to be here? Let's not even bother. Or, okay, we will bother. Again, vertical sections, always great to use the super adapter. And now we are dealing with, fortunately, no more Turbo Man lasers. But it's still a tricky section if you don't know what you're doing. Hi, Bubble Bats! Oh yeah, by the way, I talked about the shop system earlier. You may have seen the enemies dropping mini bolts. That's your currency. But because we don't utilize the shop, oh boy, they are just wasted pickups. Okay, we got to the door in time. And Noble is going for a deathless attempt here. So, remember those turtle imageries we saw earlier? I believe this is effectively Robo-Gamera. Likes to breathe fire, likes to jet in our general direction, likes to breathe fire on us again, and then likes to summon its young to attempt to cause problems for us. There are 3 possible youngling patterns, but in the end, it's just a matter of taking the turtles out. And... oh, that is evil, Noble! I like that! You can actually use the young to attack the parent turtle. I'm gonna have to remember that strategy for next time. And with that, we are now moving on to the third stage. We're kind of in the middle of the fortress, but now we have to make our way to the cannons at the top. But note that it's another split path. There are no items to worry about this time. So, you just choose the path that you feel is fastest or safest depending on how you like to run the game. Again, Super Adapter does not let us slide, and I mentioned before in Cloudman's stage about the weather effects. This is effectively that same deal, just without the ability to change the weather. You have a mini spotlight-ish situation where you can see some of the platforms ahead. And, come on, Rush, work with us here! Sometimes the dogs like to be silly. And again, I want to know how these Joes are able to just stay on the conveyor belts without moving. Oh yeah, for those that never got Rush Jet, here is your taste of it. But you only get so long before you have to abandon the ride. And here is your split path. The bottom path takes you to effectively a mini section similar to Burstman's stage. Here, however, old traditions. It's the Yoku blocks again. And here you get an energy tank, weapon tank, and a super tank. This'll come very much in handy for our final fight. But for now, it is time for a chase sequence. We are being chased by, I do not know what to call this creature. But let's just say, it likes to, take us out, and charge at us, and fire missiles at us, and fire lasers at us, and just do a whole bunch of stuff to us that would be very bad. Oh, okay, the name is Hyaned. Or Heyned, or Heynade? However you pronounce it, it's gone. Thank you, Noble Boy. And thank you, chat, for helping with the puns when I am not. Alright, it is time for the fourth stage. You all know what that means. We haven't seen the refights yet, so we are going to see them now. Get your weapon tank, get your extra life, get in the teleporter, and then choose your order. Now, I mentioned how, Freezeman is a bit of a braggart here. If you were to actually use the freeze cracker against him, he literally pauses the game just to say, hey, you can't do this to me. But in this case, we have sent Freezeman to the Ice Ages, and we get to move on. What is Slashman doing in the top 4 quadrant? Shouldn't you be farther down? As before, this is a waiting game. Wait for the eggs to drop, and wait for good shots to use the freeze cracker. This is one of the more annoying bosses, especially when the eggs fall on you. When that happens, you actually have to button mash your way out, and then you can use your weapons. If the goo gets stuck on your feet, you're kinda, well, stuck until you get out. But fortunately, we are done with the Wolverine movies for now. Junkman is up next. As before, Thunderbolt makes great work. That's what happens when you have too much metal. Electricity, let's just say, reacts very badly. The junk has been put away. Cloudman, it is time for revenge. So this explains the pattern that Nobleboy was going for earlier. A more risky pattern because you can take a lot of health damage, but fortunately, the forecast is looking bright. And now, Turbo Man. This is where the Noise Crush comes in handy. To use the Noise Crush effectively, fire it against a wall first, and then fire it at your opponent. And with that, Turbo Man needs to find those cookies. They have been taken by someone. Springman is next. As before, this is a broken Slinky. And we are just gonna make it even more broken by slashing it to pieces. See ya, Springman! Say hi to Ribbon Girl for me, please! 2 more left. Shademan. This is where we want to use the Wild Coil. If you were to attempt to use Noise Crush on Shademan, he just absorbs it or ignores it, depending. But we have defeated Shademan and the Knight. Wait, that is... close enough. Burstman, there you are. As before, the spike ceiling returns. But again, the Freeze Cracker weapon is able to do wonders. Pop goes the robot. That's all 8, folks. Time to recharge. And thus, it is time for one of the hardest sets of Wily battles there is. This walker is more annoying than anything. But oh boy, the worst is yet to come. And of course, Wily likes to send mini walkers just because. Once you get underneath Wily, it'll just charge to the other end, and then you get to repeat the process. And now, it is time for the hardest battle in the classic Mega Man games. The Wily Capsule Mark, what is it, 3, 4, something like that. Every time he teleports, Wily is able to fire 3 different types of shots. The blue ones will freeze you. The yellow ones will just do damage, as in a minor shock. The red ones will burn you, damage over time, while keeping you stunned. Every time you attack Wily, he fires a separate electric blast along the floor. Wild Coil is the best weapon to use. It deals the most damage, but it is the hardest to hit. Also, every time Wily fires those shots, it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good luck trying to manipulate those projectiles, because it is not the easiest thing in the world. Anyone that can beat this boss gets my respect. If you can no damage it, woo boy! But yes, this is why the speedrunners often take the top path. Not only is it relatively quick, but you also get access to the energy tank, weapon tank, and super tank. This is just a hard battle, no two ways about it. One more shot should do. And time. Get your GGs out in chat, folks. Noble has finished with 1 hour, 53 seconds. And thus, Wily begs for mercy yet again. But Mega Man is having none of it. He's gonna do what he should have done a long time ago. And this is where there's a difference between the Japanese version and the American version. Mega Man is actually in a position to attempt to subvert the 3 laws of robotics right here until the distraction comes in and Mega Man is in some sort of unofficial mind freeze, and then manages to dodge just in time for the debris. And thus, Trouble gets the last laugh, and Bass gives an important message. And with that, Wily Castle blows up. And we get to walk away in anger, I guess. Mega Man, let's just say he isn't really happy with how this mission went, but I think Noble Guy did very well with how this one ended up. Please, give this guy a follow. Maybe follow me if you felt I did a half-decent job on this, I don't know. Hey, don't feel too bad, Noble. Those are some tricky battles here. Alright, with that in mind, folks, I'm quickly double-checking the schedule. Because we did have some changes this morning, and I want to make sure you get the accurate data. Alright, I believe up next is SD, The Great Battle by Telio. So for those that were hoping for Mega Man X2, our apologies. I do not believe that is going to happen. But who knows, if other runs go by quickly, we may be able to fit it in later. I don't know. Rockman and Bass, for the record, is not on the schedule. There is a possible slot for you if you wanted, Big John, but we'll talk after. For now, I think it's time for Telio to take the stage. With that in mind, folks, this is Wolfman2000, aka Danstead. Again, shoutouts to Noble Guy for an excellent run. And as for me, or Noble Boy, excuse me. I'm already trying to promote this guy, and it's not working that well. I'm sorry, Noble Boy. With that in mind, folks, take care, happy Thanksgiving, keep on grooving, and may all your stars be super. I'm out.